ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। यथाग्निर्दाहिका शक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता हिया सर्वविद्यास्वरूपां तां शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु श्रद्धारूपेण संस्थिता शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। Let us pray. Let us think of the good of all people, for the health and strength of all people. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। सर्वस्तरतु दुर्गाणि सर्वो भद्राणि पश्यतु सर्वसद्बुद्धिमाप्नोतु सर्वत्र नन्दतु। हरिः ओम तत्सत्। Namaskaram to all of you. Very good evening to all of you. Susandhya, Shubha Sandhya to all the participants of this weekly course on self-confidence and character building, 2-in-1. Last week, Monday to Friday, we completed or we conducted a course on personality development. And this is focused personality development, different aspects, behavior, your health, strength, total personality it is called, total personality. And this is focused on two important aspects, which is character and self-confidence. Atma Shraddha. Atma Shraddha is translated as self-confidence. Okay. Character building, not cement building, not glass building, not some Eiffel Tower. Character building. So Vivekananda emphasized on character. So without character, an engineer, doctor, officer, parents, CEOs, they're all fumbling today. They're all shaking today. Character, character, character. Character cleaves through the adamantine walls of difficulties. If character is there, nothing else matters. You are safe, you are happy, you are the greatest. If character is not there, nothing else matters. See there, think about it. If character is there, nothing else matters. If character is not there, nothing else matters. Let it be, let there be camera in every corner. Still that fellow will do mischief. In cinemas, we see, cinemas, movies. Or you might have seen, they cover the camera or cut the cable and do mischief, loot the bank. So in that way, we are into trouble. Character. So these 5 days, Monday today, 5th of July, till Friday, participate in every class. Whoever you are, however busy you are, please don't keep any work office work or this work or that work between 6:15 and 7:30. It may extend, as old students know, to 7:45 maximum, and again we will close and meet tomorrow. So every class is important, note down and participate well. Here I want to, before our faculty takes over, please note, you people, all people, young and old, who have joined from different parts of the country, it's not only Hyderabad, so this session will be in English primarily. And some of you are using mobile, I think, mobile for your this one. You are moving around your entire house. Sit in one place, sir. It is disturbing concentration. So please sit in one place and don't keep on touching the laptop or computer, etc., or mobile. If you keep touching, you are like school children. Just now we had a inauguration of our school children's camp. I told them if they are touching the laptop and operating and writing something, Corona will enter their nose. So you should be little more disciplined, little more detached. Don't be attached. Switch on and that will do the work unless current goes off or your data is over. Please keep it straight. Just now our office people were telling, many of you or some of you are, I did not get the link. I did not get the link. Link was sent. I'm observing every day. And some of you, not everybody, old students especially, they do more mistake. They think they know everything. And simply they will pay money in the bank. And at 6:30 they will ask, link raledu, link nahi mila humko. Kaisa milta hai Vijay? System has changed. Banks have changed. So we have made a new website. First you have to fill up the application. Without that link raledu, how link will come? Is it coming from Brahmaloka? Dhanshekar, chhod kuchondi, ek saath baithiye. Why are you doing kuchipudi? Dhanshekar, sit in one place. You are swinging left side, right side. Please sit in one place. Be steady. Be like a soldier. Okay? Be like Arjuna. So, first, every time you join new students or old students, you have to first fill up the application. Simply paying money in Axis Bank or HDFC and telling link raledu, it won't come. We won't send you also. And we will take the money. I will eat the masala dosa. So, first fill up the application. That is the way we work in Ramakrishna Math. Physically, when you came, or if somebody comes physically first time, but they say, I want to join self-confidence or meditation or yoga, first give application. Then they fill up the application. In that column will be there, self-confidence, meditation, yoga, something. And then he will pay the money. Then ID card will be given. Then the receipt will be given. Same thing we are following in the network also. First fill up the application. Their columns will be there, dots will be there, what course you want. And then pay the money in the bank, whether 250 rupees or whether 300 rupees, whether 1000 rupees, whether 750 rupees is mentioned, you pay that in the bank. That will come to us, that will be saved in us, in our system. That is a new technology, new website that we have developed. So don't call and don't, without filling up the application, that means you have not registered. You have paid the money all right. It can be donation also. Today, from 5 o'clock, tsunami of phone calls, tsunami of emails. Oh, naak link raledu. Humko link nahi mila. I paid yesterday money. Arey bhai, first have you written the application? Is it so? They will ask. Kya hota hai? Then I wonder, you're all modern people, modern, IT, Accenture, 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 Cognizant. What is the use? Pappu without uppu. I wonder how our country is progressing. So please remember, next course also, anytime you join, First apply, fill up the application, there tick, 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 read properly, and then pay the money. That is complete. Without that, we want, it is difficult. It is unnecessary headache. eh? So this I wanted to clarify today. So 6:15, 6:10, please join every day and sit in front of the system and practice 24 hours only once a day. We are meeting 22 hours, 23 hours. You are somewhere working, studying, and living your life. So this self-confidence is Vivekananda's favorite topic. Shraddha, I used to call it Shraddha. In our Upanishads, there is Narayana Suktam, Shri Suktam, Purusha Suktam, like that. And there is also Shraddha Suktam. Please remember. You can go to Google because Google tells about Vedas also. Even though it was founded in America, those fellows tell us about Vedas and Bhagavad Gita also. Only our people don't know. Only Satya Nadella knows or Sundar Pichai knows. You see? So, Shraddha Suktam is there. Shraddha Suktam. Shraddha is Devi. She's a goddess. And the rishis invite her in the morning, early morning, 3 o'clock. Shraddha Devi, Avahayami. Oh mother, please come to our house. In the afternoon, they invite. Madhyanam, Madhya Dinam, 12 o'clock. Sandhya Samayam, they invite. 3 times they invite. Early morning, midday, late evening. Your house will be full of Shraddha. Not just yourself. Your entire family. Unfortunately, we lost this Shraddha. That is why we are in our present state. You may have all the sophisticated equipment, but no faith, no Vishwas on yourself or on God or on your family or on your society. So this course will help you be regular, be sincere, and read some books. Participate in this Shraddha campaign. For children, we have courses, Shraddha campaign, Shraddha Balavikas, Samskar Balavikas. For you also, we have, parents also we have. So that is what we are doing, online classes now, as long as possible. Afterwards also, since we are habituated to online, once things become better, maybe this year or next year, we don't know. Now patience, we have to be very, very patient and follow the rules, regulations, health rules, Ayurveda, yoga, etc. and become strong and efficient. So today we have Pawan Deshmukh, our volunteer faculty. He is joining us live from Hyderabad itself. Though his workplace is not in Hyderabad, it is in the Naxalite area of Chhattisgarh. See, we only read in newspapers or see in TV, police van blasted, or the school building burnt, or Naxalites kidnapped, Naxalites attack, all that. But this young man is working there, all around bullets, all around bombs, all around destruction. And a team of educationists are working with the tribals of India. That means he must have had faith in himself, faith in Vivekananda, faith in the nation, faith in the educational system. So he was working there since the situation became bad due to Corona, and even Naxalites died of Corona. See, Corona is merciless. A rich man or an Naxalite, a poor man or a middle-aged man, everybody took. So anyway, he was working there. Now he is working from home here in Hyderabad. He is well learned and habituated in teaching our children and volunteers with some graphics and with some examples. He did it in personality development also, and I told him to work on this important point and share his experience working live in Chhattisgarh, how the faith in the children, faith in oneself, faith in God will make things better. So man in the field of work and at the same time meditating and serving the organization. So he is a wonderful choice. So I hand over this one to Pawan, because now I am going to America within 1 hour and coming back. We have a NRI America channel open today. The school children from Canada, from Abu Dhabi, from Singapore, they are all next door, right? Himayat Nagar. It is in Domalguda. Thanks to technology, people from all over New York and America states, they have joined, 45 children. I have today inauguration for them. I have to talk to them. And we'll meet again tomorrow at 6:50. Over to Pawan Deshmukh. Thank you.
Pranam Maharaj and namaskars and hello to everyone, all the participants. Yes, Maharaj has actually put the whole framework that we're going to discuss today in very simple words. He said, faith in himself, faith in Vivekananda, faith in the ideal, and faith in the education system. In my perspective, he said, but that's the precise framework what we are going to discuss today. Before we begin, I just wanted to give a brief introduction, like how Maharaj was trying to talk about me. Who am I and what am I doing here? And why are we discussing this? Point one, there are a couple of agendas that I'm going to put forward after my introduction. And when we discuss the agendas, we're going to move forward into what are we going to learn for today and tomorrow. We're going to continue this for 2 hours. 1 hour today from 6:30 to 7:30, and another hour from 6:30 to 7:30 tomorrow in the evening. Yes. So the languages will be predominantly English, like how Maharaj is presented. Apart from it, if you also want me to clarify, I can clarify in Telugu and Hindi as well. Yes, a couple of norms for the session. Uh, One is I would definitely want everyone to please take up a piece of paper or a book or a pen so that there'll be a lot of terminologies what we're going to be discussing coming up on the screen. It'll be very useful if you can take down those notes so that we can discuss them in detail. Point one. Second one is I would urge and request everyone to please ask as many questions as possible because I do not want this to happen something in like sharing of information. I just want this to happen in a more conversation way, wherein I am also learning simultaneously in the process. Yes. And if you also feel that I'm speaking a bit fast in a very speed pace, do stop me, do ask me to explain it again. These are three norms that I've set for myself, and I was requesting all of you also to take care of it. Yes. Before we begin, like I was, Maharaj was giving us a brief introduction about who am I and how am I contributing to this. I've been volunteering. I've been associated with the Vivekananda Institute of Human Excellence for the past 8 years. I've been humbly sitting at the feet of Maharaj, trying to learn. 2013, we have been listening to these courses. We have been trying to learn from different sources, and the impetus which Maharaj has said, that the impetus going to the Sukma, working in those areas, challenges, struggles, finding that faith and confidence in me has completely been laid at Vivekananda Institute of Human Excellence and reading from the ideals of Vivekananda. So yes, what I really do in Sukma is, as you know that Chhattisgarh and the area of Sukma, like very close to our Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, we tend to be seeing this as a matter of fact that there is Naxal effect happening. And because of the Naxalism, a lot of children are getting deprived of their access to education. Predominantly is what I work on, education. So children are not able to get access to education. From 2005 to 2012, for 7 long years, there was a civil war which was broke out, and very intense civil war between the paramilitary forces and the left-wing extremists, and the way they were trying to fight that battle between each other, and the damage was happening for the children because the paramilitary forces used to stay in the schools, and schools and panchayat buildings, those two are only the concretized building constructed with cement and bricks. Rest are all huts and thatches huts. So interestingly, the left-wing extremists used to come and destroy all those buildings, and children used to lose that access to going to schools, and children have been mobilized from there to the safer zones called pota cabins, like 500 seater pota cabins. You imagine one big hall and 500 children are sitting in it and trying to learn. And imagine such situations in this particular timeline of corona is even more devastating and even more destructing to see. What I was trying to make a reference is, I have had a very good education in my childhood. I went to a better schooling in Hyderabad, better colleges in Hyderabad, higher education. But when I see the lifestyle of children there, and I really feel they have a lot of faith in themselves. They have that confidence in themselves. Imagine at the age of 6, a child is leaving all their parents 600, 300 kilometers away and then trying to reach out to a school, residential school, which is very, very distant away from their emotional needs of family, their physical needs that the family could provide, the nutritional needs. Like they only get tamarind water and rice. just twice in a day. And that is how difficult situations are. Why am I trying to explain all this is, whenever we try to take up different angles of the society functioning, we tend to be picking up a lot of perspectives. This is one great thing that I would request all of you to understand. How am I trying to transform my perspective and shifting my paradigm? Two different urges, because we have come from a different setup, and when we start trying to take up a framework which is quite very difficult or quite very different from us, we'll always definitely need and request us to go for a different perspective. So quickly, I just want to share my screen, and I would definitely urge and request to unmute yourself and speak, or you can just put down your responses in the chat box. Yes, yes, as we can see this, can someone just read this out for me, please? Anyone, can you just unmute yourself and read this up for me? As you can see it on the screen. What is Vivekananda trying to tell us? Anyone? Is it possible for you to unmute yourself?
Yes, sir. They could unmute themselves and talk.
Okay. Anyone, if you can just unmute yourself and just try to read what Vivekananda is trying to talk to us in this. I'm not so sure people are coming.
Sir, they are allowed now, sir.
So I will read, sir.
Sir, your mic is muted.
Can I read?
Yeah, please. Anyone.
Hello,
So I'm reading, sir.
can you hear me?
Yeah, let's go with Maitreyi Garu. Maitreyi Garu, you have just raised your hand first. Let's
Yes,
go.
sir.
Madam, can you please?
The history of the world is the history of a few men who had faith in themselves. That faith calls out the divinity within. You can do anything.
Absolutely. Like Vivekananda was trying to give us a hint, just a hunch about the history of the world is history of few people, not just men. Vivekananda said word called men, but we can actually try to rephrase it as few people who had faith in themselves. Let's try to go back into the history and try to see who could be those men. For instance, I'll take some examples of Napoleon Bonaparte, one such great military lieutenant who tried to conquer and try to reach out from his shackles of limitations to a better perspectives. He had faith in himself. I'll also try to give you a very simple example about, for 20 long years, outside the city gates of Athens, there was this Persian army lurking around. And Athens started defending their own boundaries for 20 long years. And imagine, out of this discipline, out of this courage, out of this faith in that themselves, the Athenian government, the Athenian people have completely overboard and completely defeated the Persian armies and started coming victorious out of it. This is one great example in the history of our Western civilization, when we get to see that Athens has created one of the greatest impetus for the Western civilization. What all we see about Western civilization, the Occidental, the Orientals, it all coming out of the Greek and Athens philosophy. So that is how important it is to have that faith in ourselves. Apart, not just Napoleon Bonaparte, it could be Maharana Pratap, or it could be Chhatrapati Shivaji, or it could be any other person in the history. It could be as contemporary as possible about APJ Abdul Kalam, or if you also talk about, we're trying to discuss this in the perspective of Vivekananda, so I would definitely keep coming back to Vivekananda time and again. Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda is one such great personality that we can take references from the history in order to understand that he believed in himself. There are a lot of instances coming from the life of Vivekananda. I'll tell you one example, one story which has happened, a small incident which has happened in the life of Vivekananda. I'll tell you, and I would definitely request all of you to try to give your responses on it also. As you know, that Vivekananda was going from a slave country, a country which has been subjugated under the condition of British rule back then. 1893, when Vivekananda went to America, in the ship, he was trying to give his lecture in the World Parliament of Religions on September 11, 1893. When he went there in the month of May 1893, he could see a lot of objection coming from people. The local people in America were not at all ready to accept a brown guy coming from a country which is under the subjugation of British rule, who's got no proper education. The contemporary education which they were trying to talk about back then, Vivekananda really had it, but people were not ready to believe in Vivekananda. But interestingly, there's this incident happened. Vivekananda was wearing this ochre clothes, just like the dresses which are seeing what Vivekananda is wearing in that picture right now. He was wearing that and he was walking on the road. one American woman has stopped Vivekananda and she was like, "You don't seem to me to look like a gentleman," she said. Very startling statement that is. She holds up Vivekananda, she stops him and she says, "You don't really look like me like a gentleman. What are you doing in this country so far off from your eastern places?" Then Vivekananda looks at her. Imagine a person with full of confidence inside him, with a lot of faith in himself, like what he's really doing from a country thousands of miles away from his homeland, has reached to America with no amount of financial stability, with no amount of any financial help, no money with him, with no amount of any networks or people that he know in America. Imagine the amount of level of confidence this man was having in himself. And when this lady was trying to say that statement, immediately Vivekananda smiles at her and he makes one statement. He says, "Madam, I know that you're looking at my attire, that you're looking at my dress, and you're trying to make that statement. I'll tell you one simple fact, one simple universal truth is that in your country, a tailor makes a gentleman. But in my country, a character makes a gentleman." Such a beautiful statement he makes. He makes, maybe, madam, in your country, a tailor might make a gentleman. But in my country, back in my country, a character makes a gentleman. What do we understand out of this? Anyone? Anyone can just unmute yourself and then try to respond to this. What was Vivekananda trying to make?
Attire is not important.
Yeah. Attire is not important. What do you see apparently is not important. Inherently is important. Yes. Anyone else?
Inner beauty is more important than the external appearance.
Exactly. Inner beauty is more important than the external appearance. What is apparently is not that important, but what is inherently is definitely important. Yes. Anybody else? We'll just take one more response and I'll try to conclude this and we'll move on to our next thing. Yeah. Anyone?
Yes, Vivekananda means to say that through character we can be a gentleman. For suppose how we behave, how we react.
Absolutely. Interesting, because he used a couple of interesting words here. One is he was trying to respond to the statement which he made about being gentleman, and next word that he has coined in here is confidence, that with which he is trying to talk, and about talking about character. Two predominant words I've been trying to discuss for this particular program called self-confidence and character building. Now, out of this, I would definitely want to ask you people about why have you guys joined this program? What do you expect to gain out of this program? And why do we need self-confidence, or why do we need to know about character building? Why?
Because to improve our character, to improve our confidence, how to speak.
Yes.
For suppose in the future we may go to an job interview, and for that we need a self-confidence.
Absolutely. Yes. You need to have faith in yourself. You need to know what you're doing. And based on that, you want to achieve something. You want to be successful in life. Either it could be a job interview if you want to go for a seat in an American or any Ivy League college. If you want to achieve something, if you want to start up your own entrepreneurship, or if you want to get a better job, if you want to go into the civil services or want to do some social service, anything in your life, if you want to achieve something, we need that confidence within ourselves. So let's try to understand what is character then. Then how is character connected with this? And what is character after all? What do we understand by this word character? And why do we really need to
character is identity.
Okay.
Like whatever you do, whatever you think or react to things, it is all about your identity. It defines you completely.
Absolutely. The thing that defines me is my character. And any other responses? We'll try to collectively try to talk about it.
The behavior of the person.
Yes. The behavior.
Right attitude.
The attitude, the personality, behavior, all these sum up, all these create that mount called character. Absolutely. Anything else? Or should we go ahead with the framework that Lao Tzu, a very important and very famous Chinese philosopher, has defined character in a very interesting stages. Lao Tzu tries to define character in a way. He says, everybody has got thoughts. We think. Because we think, we are. So there is this very interesting statement by a philosopher called René Descartes. René Descartes says, cogito ergo sum. I think, so I am. So everybody is made up of thoughts. You had a thought to join this program in order to better yourself. I had a thought to study this particular thing so that I can talk and express my ideas. I can better my own self. We have thoughts. For instance, I'm thirsty. So I have a thought to pick up a glass of water, fetch a glass of water for myself and drink and quench my thirst. Interestingly, Lao Tzu says, everybody has got thoughts. Every second we have a thought. Every minuscule second we have a thought. These collection of thoughts will transform into my actions. My thought, I have a thought that I'm thirsty and I need some water, and this thought will transform into go getting a glass of water. Action. So thoughts will move into my actions. My actions repeatedly, if I keep doing the same actions, like for instance, if I go play tennis every day in the morning, that will turn into my habit. So thoughts will move into my actions will move into my habits, and habits will define my character. The things that you do repeatedly, the things that you do as yourself, like someone has interestingly pointed out saying identity. How do I identify myself with something? Like how a doctor identifies himself or herself as being a doctor, being a surgeon, being an orthopedician or ontologist, something like that. So character defines what I do based on my thoughts, actions, and habits that will transform into my character or the personality. So in this courses, we'll definitely try to deal with these aspects about how can we improve that self-confidence. I'm just going to share certain ideas. I'm also going to learn in the process. Don't think that I know everything. There is no person in this world who can know everything, but we'll just try to unravel in the process. Point one, improving our self-confidence. Along with this, about character building. But what is character and how can I be conscious about my actions? Great. So let's slowly try to move. There is a particular framework that I'm going to use. I'm going to share this PDF with all of you tomorrow. So you also can take a look at it. You also can understand about what are we discussing in particularly. Like initially Maharaj has given us this shlokam. He says, Yadevi sarvabhuteshu shraddha rupena samstita. So he was talking about this word called shraddha, which Vivekananda has coined repeatedly in his life, over the works, over the statements, over the lectures in the course of his life. He has repeatedly coined this word called shraddha. So what is shraddha? Basically, there is this misconception around, at least in my home or in my surroundings, shraddha is understood as concentration. But it is actually not freestyle translation of shraddha from Sanskrit to English. Shraddha is faith and not concentration. Has anyone of you has come across this word shraddha as concentration, or shraddha, you know that shraddha is faith?
I have come across this word as concentration and things. Like when people say concentrate on your studies, have shraddha, show some shraddha to things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is quite very predominant in my circles, wherein even when I was trying to talk to my mother about shraddha, she was like, are you going to talk about concentration? No, it is not about concentration. It is about faith. We'll try to deal with this in detail. Shraddha is a very comprehensive philosophy. Shraddha is a very comprehensive structure that we're going to discuss. So there are 4 facets to this. Elements of Shraddha, they call it. So what are those elements of Shraddha? How can we understand Shraddha will be our agenda. And later we'll slowly try to move ahead of this and then understand about what Shraddha means and how can I develop Shraddha in my life. So as you can see here, I'll just show you, I'll just walk you through about what are we going to discuss in the next 40 minutes. We're going to look at what Shraddha is and what are different elements of Shraddha, taking 4 different cases or 4 different scenarios or 4 different perspectives. And then we're going to slowly move into understanding Shraddha from 4 different angles. One is scientific, next one is societal, third one is cultural, and fourth one is intellectual. We'll try to look at Shraddha from 4 different angles. And then we'll also try to look at how positivity can be connected with Shraddha. Whenever we talk about self-confidence, the first thing comes to my mind is I have to be positive. I need to think good about myself. I need to look at what are my strengths, what are my areas of development. We'll definitely look into all of that. We'll take a perspective called positivistic perspective about understanding Shraddha. After this, we'll slowly move into understanding how do we develop Shraddha in oneself. Like we have spoken about the theoretical standpoint of Shraddha, like Shraddha, elements of Shraddha, different perspectives of Shraddha. Then we'll talk about application of Shraddha. How can I apply Shraddha to myself and how can I develop that self-confidence within me? Next. Then slowly we'll try to look about different angles in which I can develop Shraddha. I'll share this whole thing with you, this whole PDF. You don't have to worry about it. I'll definitely share. And this is also available on internet. I'll also give you access to where you can find these. And then we'll look at different personalities from the walks of our life, different people from the history, from the mythologies, from the epics, contemporary people, very historically significant people, politically significant people, even sports, the significant people in the stream of sports as well. We'll try to look into it. Different angles and different people contributing and how they have channelized their Shraddha. So Shraddha is what we'll discuss definitely. Then we'll talk about what is collective Shraddha. We spoke about individual Shraddha. Then we'll talk about how can we develop confidence in a collective manner. We'll look at different case studies and slowly then we'll move on to understanding what is believing in ourselves. This is one of the most key concepts of what Vivekananda always has to mention in his lectures, in his stories, in his parables and everything, that he always wanted us, for me, to believe in myself. Then the belief will come, then I'll start believing in the world, then I'll start believing in my family, my peers, my friends, and what can I achieve, how can I be successful. All these aspects we'll slowly discuss, and then we'll take up one major case study about Sister Nivedita, about how she has transformed herself in the path of self-confidence and how she has actually built her whole service-oriented mindset on the aspect of Shraddha. So these are aspects that we'll discuss. So quickly, let's get on to understanding what are the elements of Shraddha. Now, as we have been listening to this word called Shraddha for quite a bit of a time, let's look at what Shraddha really means. Okay, so basically Shraddha means having faith in oneself and one's capacities. Now, when do we talk about capacities, it's about what are different possibilities that are there within me. For instance, in 20th century biologist, there is this very interesting book called Evolutionary Humanism, written by Sir Julian Huxley. He writes very interesting statement. He writes, I love that statement. You know what he says? He says, we need a new science, a science of human possibilities. We need to start understanding what is possible that is within me, that is lurking inside me, that I can really achieve in my life. What do we really do is we try to attune myself. What I really have done in my whole life is I started attuning myself. I started attaching myself to what society needs out of me. For instance, my mother always wanted me to be a chartered accountant. So she has gotten me from directly when I've cleared my 10th grade, she gotten me into an MEC course where I had to study economics and commerce and mathematics. Then I had to take up chartered accountancy. Then I have to study company secretaryship. But I was not that happy. So when I started failing in my exams, I started losing that faith in myself. And I started losing that confidence in myself. But then I started keeping my chartered accountancy aside, keeping my company secretaryship aside. Then I started understanding what am I really good at? What are the possibilities that I can take within myself? And then I picked up education, because education was the one thing which I really wanted to do in my life. I was very invested in it. I was really interested in taking up education. So I've done my master's, I'm doing my PhD in the next couple of years, and I'm working now in the SUKMA, and I'm also going to contribute to public policy. So we need to understand what are my capacities. What am I really good at? And then we'll try to take up a perspective called positivist perspective. I can really do this, can do approach. If a challenging opportunity comes to me, how am I dealing with that situation? How am I really trying to address that situation? Is one great approach that we need to pick up is positivistic approach. Be very, very positive. Do not let your negative thoughts come into your mind in trying to channelize our actions. Again, I'm going to go back to the same framework about character building. What was that first one in the character building? Thoughts. Different kinds of positive thoughts, negative thoughts, thoughts which will pull me down, thoughts will actually take me up. Different kinds of thoughts. Thoughts will transform into my actions, the things I do. Actions into my habits, habits into my character. So positivistic thoughts, positivistic thinking approach will really help us to build that confidence. Third one is believing in one's own future. Like today, the thoughts I'm taking up, the actions I'm taking up will actually transform into my future prospects, into my future successes, into my future challenges. So what all I'm doing today is going to come up tomorrow. That's exactly what the fourth one is. Vivekananda says, you are the creator of your own destiny. There is no other person in the world, there is no other system, there is no other thing in the world that can define your destiny. It is us who will define our own destiny, and no one else will do that for us. That is one interesting thing that we need to keep in mind. So now, yes, sir. Okay, if you have any doubts, please do ask. You can unmute yourself, or you can just put down in the chat box. So we'll slowly try to move on to the next one about exploring the elements of Shraddha. Yes, first one, faith in oneself and one's capacities. Case, a team leader is asking for the volunteers about a new college event. So look at how people are responding to that challenge, or for that particular situation. A situation has come that a team leader has come up from the team in an office, and the team leader is asking the volunteers, a couple of volunteers, about how about creating a new college event. Now, the first one is saying this is something we have never done before, but I think we can do it. Why not try? The situation has come up wherein the whole company has never tried it, wherein you might have never even read about it or something like that, but you might have a basic understanding, but you don't know how can your future prospects be based out of it. So now the situation, the person is saying, this is something very, very interesting. We have never done this. How about taking it up and trying it out? Look at the other perspective immediately. The other person is saying, I don't think I'm very creative. I won't be able to do it. No point in volunteering at all. I'll try to back off here. I'll not at all take this perspective forward only. I'll not at all go into the future prospects. Now, what is the difference between these two thinking? Can someone just unmute yourself and tell, what are these two people doing here? What is the first person doing and what is the second person doing? Yeah, Vishwanath ji.
I think one is the fixed mindset and the second one is the growth mindset.
Absolutely. Fixed mindset and growth mindset, wherein one person is trying to be extensively static, wherein I am standing at this point of excellence, and I know these things, and I don't want to know new things. I don't want to be creative. I don't want to take challenges. I don't want to take risk in my life. So I will not go forward. This is the one great impediment for confidence in life. You're without even beginning the whole process of learning, you started pulling yourself down. Thoughts. What is the other person doing here? When one person is trying to be static, the other person is trying to be dynamic. Even though I'm not so sure, even though I'm not so clear about what is going to be my goal or my success point, I'll definitely try to try. So trying it out is one great approach, wherein even though you don't have much of information, but you're still trying to pick it up. Now let's look at the second one, positive can-do approach on the right side. The case is, to meet the increasing demand of the international market, the management realizes that they need to double the promotion at high speed. In order to go for the lot of demand, the company is trying to go for a high production with high speed. Quickly, they want to produce a lot of aspects. So now look at the first person. It's impossible. We don't have the stuff, not the funds to do it. Absolutely. They might really don't have the stuff. They might really don't have the funds to do it. But the immediate response from a person, from a staff member, is saying that it's completely impossible. Okay. Now look at the second person with the perspective. We can do it. With a little bit of redesign of our process, we'll find a way out. Very interesting statement, right? We know that we don't have resources about proper funds, and we don't really have human resources of staff, but still, how about trying to take it up with a positive mindset and trying to make some changes in our approaches? This is extensively important about understanding how do we shift our paradigm. Again, I keep coming up with this story about paradigm shift. What is paradigm? Paradigm is an English word, very interesting English word, which says our thought process. Again, go back to the framework of character building. Paradigm is thought process. How do I think? In ela alochistanu ane danni paradigm antaru. Ante na alochinche dhorani. The way I think is paradigm. So now look at the second person in this case. The way he shifts is paradigm. We don't have people, we don't have funds, but still we'll take it up. I'll tell you a very quick story about this. It's 7 o'clock. I'll tell you a very small story about this. Then we'll move on to the next one. There was a man with 3 children traveling a train in Switzerland. He's quietly sitting in one corner of the train bogie, the train box, quietly sitting. He's not at all talking. He's very, very gloomy, very, very dull. He's not at all responding. He's not at all happy. We can see it out of his face. He had 3 children. Like I said, the 3 children are roaming around the whole train and disturbing everyone. They're trying to pull the handkerchief from a lady, is trying to take up the purse from another person, doing this. So that being very mischievous, very naughty in the process. So everybody is getting very serious. They're saying, they've all of the people, the 7 to 8 people in the whole train box, they went to that man, the father, and they said, your children are being very naughty. Can you please stop them? The father didn't speak at all. All the passengers went back. They sat in their places. Again, the children started doing the same. They're being naughty again. Again, they're naughty. Again, they're trying to be mischievous. They're disturbing the other people. Now the people have become so furious, so angry. They went to the father and they said, if you don't stop, we're going to beat them. We're going to do corporal punishment. So now the father looked at all the 7 to 8 people, and the father said, my dear sir and ladies, just now we have finished the cremation of their mother in the crematory house. The mother died, and I don't know how to tell my children about where the mother is. That's why they keep asking, so I've left them. They're being very mischievous. There's only the mother that could actually stop them. Now she's not there. I don't know what to do, so I'm sitting there aside. Now all the 7 to 8 people who have heard this, they've literally gone back to their seats. They've started picking up the 3 children and started feeding them, giving them biscuits, giving them this and that, trying to talk to them, consoling them, understanding the situation. This is one great thing that I would definitely want us to understand in depth, that shifting our paradigm. Without knowing the information, without understanding the situation, we start jumping into conclusions. And jumping into conclusion will affect our confidence. You need to understand what the situation is. You need to understand it from multiple perspectives, not from one perspective, but try to pick it up from different perspectives. Try to understand what the challenge is. There is no point in saying it's impossible. If you immediately say it's impossible, then how do you expect to gain confidence in life? How do you expect to be successful in life? This is one great thing that we can learn from that. By the way, that story, I've picked it up from a book called Blink. If you want to read, you can read that book by Malcolm Gladwell. It's a very interesting book called Blink. Okay, now look at the third perspective here, third case, which is viewing oneself as a creator of one's own destiny. Example, a housing society is facing constant power cuts. Even my locality keeps having this. After repeated complaints with the authority, no steps have been taken. At a meeting, 2 strong views have come up. One, left one. What can we do? We are at the mercy of the authorities. We just have to wait. This is very common notion that we keep seeing, that the government is responsible for everything. The state is responsible for everything. The politicians are responsible for everything. The police is responsible for everything. The teacher is responsible for everything. The parents are responsible for everything. So it's easy to push the blame onto others, but rather taking that blame. When you start taking the responsibility, we'll understand that how confident we are. Okay, great. So look at the second perspective, view 2. Let's do something to transform the situation and solve the problem once and for all. Because there are 4 to 5 people sitting in a collective, because the society is coming together. Let's imagine it's a society. There is a president for the society. There are people for society. They have networks. They have money. But still, if you only start complaining about the government is not laying the road, the government is not doing this, or the education system is extensively bad in our country, what am I really have to do in this? For instance, if I also might have thought about the same, about there is Naxalism problem in Sukma. So what is the point in even going there? There'll be encounters happening day in and day out. The people will be dying. The children won't even come to school. They don't understand Hindi. They don't understand English. What's the point in teaching them? What's the point in talking to them? That will stop me from exploring myself, and that will hit my confidence again. So in order to improve our confidence, in order to understand what is my character, what is my worth, I need to start taking challenges. So taking challenges is another great point for us to improve our character. Next, positive belief in one's own future. A new course is being offered in an emergency field. A group of students are considering whether to apply or not. The new course has been started and the students are trying to discuss within themselves. And what are they trying to discuss? First student, it sounds good, but will take long before career options in this field open up in India. So if I take up this course right now, there won't be career options happening. For instance, very typical example, which my mother also shown me, that in the next 10 years, CAs, chartered accountants and company secretaries will have excellent future in your life. So please take it up. So she was not at all concerned about, like, example I'm giving, I'm being very harsh on my mother, but that's not the case. But she was not trying to understand what are my capacities and capabilities. But next one, it's not for me. Such courses are meant for students from the few top colleges of the country. Again, negative thoughts pulling us down, hitting my confidence. Look at third perspective. This is how we transform our thoughts. Thoughts will transform into actions. Third one, this is the future. It is a great opportunity for me. I must take it up. Let me start preparing for it. He's not jumping into conclusion that I'll join this course right away. This course is going to transform my life. I'm gonna have 30 lakh package, 40 lakh package, 50 lakh package. When you start looking at these all figures and factual things, it'll hit our confidence a lot in a very different way. It'll also transform my character, and the way I look at my character also changes. This guy is actually trying to look into the future prospects and understanding how these opportunities can be useful. Any questions so far? I know I'm just going in a bit fast pace, but I really want to discuss all these elements, time in, time forth. The first thing is, like we discussed, faith in one's own capacities and capabilities. Next one is positive approach. Third one is viewing oneself as creator of one's own destiny, that I can really do something better out of my life, that I am the creator of my own destiny. No one else will define for me. I will define what is good for me. Because, for instance, if a person is diabetic, who will decide that the diabetic patient should eat sweets or not? The patient will decide. Imagine if my friend is diabetic and if I keep feeding my friend laddus every day, is that really good for that person? No, the person has to take responsibility, saying that I am diabetic. I'm not supposed to eat sweets right now. I'll try to take it in limit. That is how we start creating our own destiny for ourselves. And this is how we start building that confidence within myself. And fourth one is believing in our future. Confidence, we lack confidence a lot of times. I lack confidence a lot of times when I start fearing for my future. The fear is another greater impediment for affecting my confidence. Now let's look into the different aspects here coming up. Let's try to look into 4 different perspectives about what is Shraddha and what is the foundation. We're just trying to look at what Shraddha is till now. Scientific adventures in different ways of scientific developments we have seen. For instance, I'll give you a very interesting example. Many of you might have known that way before Pythagoras has come into the world, Pythagoras, people used to believe that the earth was flat. The earth was not round. Many people didn't knew it. Many people used to think that earth was the center of the universe. Lot of things. Even after Copernicus has come up, then people started understanding that earth revolves around the sun, and sun is also not the center of the universe. That is after the Copernicus has come up. Imagine in the year 15th century or 14th century, Copernicus is trying to make this statement to the people. People were not at all accepting. The church was not accepting. The government was not accepting. The rulers were not accepting. Everyone were trying to be against Copernicus, against Bruno. When Bruno came out and said that the universe is infinite, and this world, this earth is not only the place that is there in the world, the universe is infinite. This is the statement that Bruno has made. Imagine Bruno has been sentenced to the jail for 20 to 30 years, for 2 to 3 decades. Bruno was been put under bars for making that very statement. But imagine the confidence with which Bruno has actually derived all these theories. Imagine if Pythagoras wouldn't have made that statement, or even Newton wouldn't have achieved that landmark achievement in his life, we wouldn't have really gone so much ahead in our physics, in our cultural development, or even a scientific development, or machinery development, or engineering development, or anything as such. So it is about taking challenges and believing in ourselves. That's how scientific unfoldments have come up in society, about building society. There are different examples we'll keep discussing. I'll share this document with you all so that you can go through it. There are examples about how Walt Disney was confident, how Mickey Mouse has come out into our life. Yes, someone is asking me a question about, I'm going to give all this info which you are showing us in PDF form. I'm going to share all this PDF with you. I'm just trying to talk to you guys about in a vague manner, because we don't have much of time to discuss everything in detail. But if you have questions, we'll take up one by one. So now let's look at each one of us can embark on the positive cycle of Shraddha. Like I said, positivistic approach, like being positive in our life will improve our self-confidence. So how can we do that? How can we be positive, and how can I connect Shraddha with positivity? One, initial Shraddha, positive faith. Like I can do this. Just telling this to yourself, verbally telling this to myself that I can do this, lot of change will come up. I can really vouch for this, because continuously, if you keep saying, there has been an experiment which has happened in Russia. There was this extensively famous Russian boxer. During the Cold War times in 1970s, there's an extensively famous Russian boxer who used to be very successful in his life. You know what Russians have done? They want to see how powerful this guy is. You know what they have done? They have contained him in a glass box, huge room made out of glass, wherein you can see from outside what this person is doing, made out of mirrors, wherein this person can't see what is happening outside. The boxer is inside. The boxer can't see what is happening outside. The outside people can see what this boxer is doing. Glass box. They've given him food. They've given him books to read. They've given him everything. They've given him entertainment, music, food, books, everything. They made this guy stay in that room for 1 month. Okay. And late every day, they used to come online. They used to take up the microphones and they used to talk about his opponents. They used to say how great your opponents are, how great the American boxers are, how great and how stupid you are, how weak you are. They started instilling these negative thoughts in his mind, negative faith in his mind. Slowly, you can't even imagine that after 1 month, with all the food, with all the gymming equipment he had in that room, with all the music entertainment, with all the books, everything was there. But he was not supposed to talk to outside people, which is people. He used to listen to people outside saying that how great the other people are and how weak he is. Just by telling these words every day, that man has become so weak physically, mentally, and psychologically also. And he was not at all qualified to get into any other next match. And he was completely disqualified from the Olympics. You should actually go and search for this guy. I really forgot his name. I would definitely try to take its name tomorrow. But imagine this experiment. This has really happened. That has really affected this guy in so negative way. So first thing is positive faith. Telling ourselves that I can really achieve something in life will improve our self-confidence. Second one is positive attitude. Like I said, thoughts will transform into my actions. When I take up that action, it'll transform into my attitude. Like, this is how I am. This is what I can achieve in my life. And what are different paths of engagement that I take in my life. Third one is leading towards success and rewards, and also ability to face failure. Many other ways in which confidence can be affected in life is through understanding the failures in life. There are different aspects that we'll be discussing in the next PDF files also, about how we are going to address the aspect of failure. And fourth one is leading to greater Shraddha. I'll talk about what is greater Shraddha in the next slides. Do we have any questions still here? Or else we'll just go with one small example about how a student is creating his own study plan. Do we have any questions here? I really want to take up questions. I really want us to discuss. I really don't want this document to talk, because I'll share this document with you anyway. There's no point in having this document. I want us to discuss within ourselves, because one great pathway towards success or excellence in life, we are all sitting here in the Institute of Human Excellence, Vivekananda Institute of Human Excellence. You know what is that one secret to success in terms of building self-confidence is? Can anyone?
Yeah, I have one question here.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so we see some scenarios like where, yes, looking at some particular instance, yes, I have some good confidence on me, and we'll feel like our self-confidence is boosted.
Yes.
But in some other scenarios, we feel like we are lost. So how to sustain or maintain that self-confidence?
Absolutely. That's what I have told you initially also. When we're trying to define elements of Shraddha, our psychology behind this has to be in a way that I have thoughts like you are saying, that looking at certain inspirational personality, like reading about Mary Kom or looking at Abdul Kalam, at Vivekananda, we get inspired. That inspiration won't stay for too long. That again, my confidence will go down when I forget about Vivekananda, or when I think about my future, when I look at my failures. Again, that inspirational jinx won't stay for too long, and I'll again lose my confidence. So exactly that is what we are going to discuss in the next one, about application. I take up this inspiration. I know what Vivekananda has done. I know what Abdul Kalam has done. I know what I'm supposed to do. Then I'll definitely do it. So transforming our thoughts into our actions is very important. We need to make sure that our thoughts are definitely made properly applied, and we are trying to look at how they are going to change myself and my attitude in life. One example I can give all of you is look at the aspect of reflection. We all know what reflection is, right? Looking at our own selves, thinking, what am I doing? For a very simple example, even personality development, I was talking about, this is journaling. Many of us do about journaling, right? Writing diary. One good way of improving confidence in life is look at ourselves. Look at what am I really good at, our strengths, and look at what are my areas of development. Never talk about weaknesses. Weakness is a very wrong word. We are not at all weak. Swamiji says we are moving from one state of truth to the higher state of truth. No one is weak. No one is ignorant. We are moving from one state of knowledge to a different state of knowledge. No one starts with tabula rasa. In educational field, there is this word called tabula rasa. You know what tabula rasa means? Tabula rasa means blank slate. Hundreds of years ago, or even under the British rule, we used to see that children were considered that children are tabula rasa. Tabula rasa means blank slate. Like they don't know nothing. The teachers will go into the classroom, they'll give knowledge, children will gain knowledge. That is wrong notion. That is not at all the case. Children know a lot of things already. Even we know a lot of things already. All these structures, frameworks, you already know a lot of things, but we don't know how to organize that knowledge. We just need a framework. We just need a hand holding wherein we get to see, oh yes, I know this story, I know this framework, I know this concept. Now, how am I going to organize all of this? Organization of knowledge is most important. Vivekananda says this very interestingly. He says, do you know why India has failed in front of Britishers? You know why Eastern civilization, or like Indian subcontinent, is not as successful as the Western civilization? Because the Westerners, Vivekananda says, this is not my statement, Vivekananda says, because the Westerners are good at organization. Because look at the way that one small country, which is just as small as Andhra Pradesh, or like clubbing couple of states like England, is as small as a clubbing couple of states, and that country has able to conquer almost 3/4 of the country, 3/4 of the world at a point of time. Very, very massive amount of colonization has happened. Imagine how could that country gain so much of confidence within themselves to achieve this? Just because of organization of self, organization of their troops, organization of their countrymen. They all live in that. You look at China, the way that Chinese people try to organize this. The other day I was listening to Dr. R. Balasubramaniam sir, a very famous personality. You should Google about him later. He went to China and for a couple of days of a session. And when he was staying in China in a 5-star hotel, he went into this hotel, he checked in his room. When inside the room, he found out that the AC was not functioning. The AC was not all functioning. So he came down into the lobby and he asked the people about, why is the AC not functioning? You have given me a 5-star hotel suite room. The AC is not functioning. What's the problem? He brought the remote also, this and that and all. Slowly the reception is saying, sir, the government of China has declared that for this particular 3 to 4 weeks, no one in the country will be using air conditioners. Even though they will be using only at this particular degree of temperature. And if they try to reduce that temperature, the action will be taken care of. So imagine the Chinese people have really agreed to this. And I'm just talking about this example about how organized their minds are. This is completely military way of trying to deal with it. The democracy, the India really can't take all of that. If imagine if some rule pass out in Hyderabad or in our country saying no one will use AC, that there will be a huge civil war in breaking out. The government will be overturned in a day. So a lot of changes, a lot of problems will come up. But I'm just trying to say how organized certain minds are, certain countries are. Look at Japanese, how organized Japanese are. That will actually help us in building confidence in ourselves. This has had to happen through by transforming our thoughts into our actions in a very conscious way. We'll look into all of these aspects. Let's take one example. I have a question about how can one get on with the negative forces which are around them and be strong and have Shraddha on their goal. Very important question. We'll definitely deal with this, but in a very short way, if we have to address this question about how to deal with our negative things, like I said, we need to start reflecting on our actions. This reflection has to happen on 3 stages. Reflection on self, reflection on our peers and family. That's the framework which I was talking about. Reflection on our peers and family, reflection on my societal standards. For instance, society tries to put a lot of pressure on me. Like example, my mother, she said, you have to become CA. And I fought with her. I said, I'll never become CA because that is not my forte. I can't really do that. Is affecting my confidence. What do you want me to do? Be a failure all my life, not achieving anything in my life. Even though if I become chartered accountant, do you think I can survive being a chartered accountant all my life? I can never do that. That will hamper my confidence. So even though negative thoughts come, you need to start organizing your ideas. You need to transform your thoughts into better actions about what are your capabilities and what are my possibilities. That's why I mentioned about this concept called Julian Huxley's, about understanding human possibilities inside. What are my possibilities and what can I achieve in my life? Great. Someone has a question, Anusha Hegde. You can please ask a question. Unmute yourself and you can ask.
Bhaiya, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yeah, yes.
Namaste. Bhaiya, actually, I had a question related to the point that you earlier made in the class I think you were linking identity and character and the society as well. So when you're talking about a personality or a character being made of several habits coming together, the question that I have personally is that character can also be a conglomeration or a combination of a combination of habits and samskara or the society or the environment that we are living in. And in psychology also we see, right, that there are several personalities, a combination of nature and nurture. So can you please elaborate upon this?
Absolutely. It's a very good point, because I just give you a very fair framework. I couldn't go into the details about how thoughts, actions, habits transform into a character. That is one way of looking into it, but different aspects. I'll give you one great example about how predispositions work. This is a very interesting word that everyone can take a note of, about how predispositions work in our life. Predisposition is, I think that I know something, and I also feel that I really don't know anything in my life. This is one great way of losing confidence. This is one great way of actually moving towards failure in life. In China, in Chinese philosophy, there is this very famous story that many of you might also know about this. I've also trying to talk about this in personality development class, saying that there was a master and there was a student. The student came up to the master and student said, "Master, I want to learn everything that's there in the world. Teach me. I want to be the knowledgeable person in the world." The master laughed at him and he said, "It'll take time, brother. You please stay with me for quite a period of time. You'll understand how to gain knowledge in the course of time." The student was very, very anxious and he said, "No, I have to know it right now in a very short span of time. I don't have much time. You please make me knowledgeable person." The master said, "Okay, go fetch me a cup of tea." The student goes, the disciple goes and he fetches a kettle of tea and a cup of tea. And the master says, "Pour." The student pours that tea in the cup. And when the cup was full, the student says, "Master, the tea is ready. Can you drink?" The master says, "Pour again." The student said, "No, master, if I pour, the cup will get overflowed and the tea will get wasted." Again, someone has asked me this question about overconfidence. You can connect this with overconfidence also. The student was very overconfident, thinking that I am in a position wherein I can know everything. I have the faculty, I have the knowledge within me, I have the capacity within me, so I can know everything. So I have that overconfidence within me. That's what he was thinking. The master wants to break that confidence. He wanted to break that predisposition. You know what he said? "Now pour some tea." The master was very, very furious on this. The student said, "I can't do this." He said, "Pour." Then when he started pouring, the whole cup was overflowing. Now the master said, "See, you have wasted a lot of tea. This is a problem with us, with me particularly, or with the student in the example, wherein the student is trying to talk about knowing everything without even emptying the cup. If we don't empty the cup, if we don't start unlearning some things in my life, if I don't start taking negative forces in my life, if I don't be conscious about the negative forces that are pulling me down, I will start wasting all my efforts. Even though if I take up a book, even though if I apply for an exam, even though if I apply for an interview, if I again keep doing the same mistakes again and again, that will actually affect my confidence." That is what is happening in the story as well, wherein the cup is getting overflowed. The cup has to be emptied. The tea in the cup has to be drank. Then again, when you put the cup down, you can pour some more tea into it. This is about predisposition. Predispositions can be in multiple levels. Predispositions can be cultural predisposition, scientific predisposition, intellectual predisposition. I'll show you this. This is what I was trying to talk about. Predispositions are this. Cultural predispositions, as you can see here, wherein culturally some things will always try to pull us down. Example is caste-based discrimination. There are different kinds of discrimination that happens based on our caste in our country. That is also affect our confidence to a much greater extent. So cultural predispositions. There are intellectual predispositions, wherein we believe that certain colleges will only give better education in life. For instance, IITs and IIMs, if someone graduates from IIT or someone graduates from IIM, then only that person is extensively qualified in order to get a better job, or the packages, earning that packages in life. So intellectual predisposition, we need to empty all of this. You can also create a society. You can also, there is an example about, there is this beautiful story. You might actually want to Google this. There's a person called Babar Ali. He keeps coming down to VIHE. Whenever there's sessions, you can join. He is the world's youngest headmaster. He became headmaster of a school at the age of 9. Imagine Babar Ali with all his predispositions. If he might have thought that I'm not able to go to school, there was no school in his village. He was 9 years old. There were a few other children with him. You know what he has done? He started a school in the backyard of his house in a very, very small hut with 9 to 10 people with his own sister. They all sat together and they started a school. And now the school has transformed into a huge structure called Ananda Siksha Niketan. And he has been awarded a lot of prizes. He has been gone into Europe, he has gone into France, Paris, and he started giving a lot of lectures, and he's become so popular. BBC has also done a documentary on him. We should actually read about Babar Ali and understand what has really happened with Babar Ali. Babar Ali has actually tried to channelize his confidence, keeping all the negatives aside. Interesting, right? There was negatives where, like, there was no school in the village. There was no access to school. There was not even a government school. It was way back a few years ago. There was no proper government educational access to that man. The children were not at all able to get proper education. Then he slowly started understanding what is the challenge, what are the negative things that are pulling me down. I'll start working on this. That is how you build confidence. Confidence is not something that you give yourself. Confidence is something that we develop in the process. Confidence is our attitude. Confidence is in my mindset. Right. So that is how we try to develop confidence in the course of time. You can actually write down his name, called Babar Ali, world's youngest headmaster. Very interesting personality it is. You can read a lot. His lectures are also there. Very interesting personality. So yes, so we're going to look at how we can apply self-confidence and how can we channelize and be very conscious about character in particular. We won't be discussing completely about character building and all. Character building takes lot of years of practice. Vivekananda says very beautifully, he says, character has to be established through 1,000 stumbles. Character won't be established in a day. Rome was not built in a night. Rome was not built in a fortnight. It will definitely take time for us to build our character, understand first what character is, and then slowly start developing towards how character can be developed. Character is made out of different values that we have, different mindsets I develop, different knowledgeable pieces I gain. What is knowledge for me and what is not knowledge for me? What should I avoid in life? What should I be picking in life? Is what this will make up of character, leaving all my predispositions aside. Predisposition ante emi ledhu. Predisposition ante very simple. Pre is something which I already have, and disposition is my understanding. I have an understanding about this, and I will think only in this way. Will affect my confidence. Try to take up perspectives about different ways. I'll tell you one. If it's already 7:30, I'll just take one small example about how my confidence has affected me, how overconfident I was. Within a minute, I'll try to tell, and then we'll end this if you have no questions. I joined in an organization called Teach for India. It's a very, very reputed organization. In 2016, when I started joining them, I was being posted in a government school in Hyderabad. And I went into the classroom. I stood in front of children. I was confident. I took up the textbook. I took up the chalk piece. I started teaching everyone immediately without even knowing who my kids are. What should I even talk to them? What do I even know about them? Nothing was there in my head. I was simply rushing towards teaching them. I was extensively confident about my knowledge, my skills, my mindset, my values and all. Confidence is what is happening here, turning into overconfidence. I stood in front of them. There was this very small girl of 7 years. 6 or 7 years, sitting in my classroom. She has come to the school for the first time ever. She sat in front of me and she's not able to understand anything. Obviously, I'm teaching in a 3rd grade. She's of a first grade kid, but sitting in 3rd grade. I was confused and I went to her and asked, what is your class? She said 3rd class. I couldn't understand. So I went down to the teachers and I asked, what is happening here? Teacher said, no, the child will be in 3rd grade only. We can't move her into any other. I went to the headmaster and asked, what is happening? Headmaster said, this is only the place. Then I telephoned her mother. Then I asked mother, madam, your child is 3rd grade, which she will not understand anything. Can I please move her into 1st grade? The mother started crying. That has really affected me. I was so overconfident about my values, mindset, skills and all. Then I understood that when she started crying, then I got to understand as a matter of fact that she told me that if we move her from 1st grade, she will be taken out of the hostel which is next by. So there is this tribal welfare hostel close to the school. The tribal welfare hostel tries to give admission only to children who are studying in a 3rd grade in a government school nearby. If we move her from 3rd grade, she has to go back to the village. And I asked, what's the problem? Why don't you take her to the village? Then the mother said, if I take her back to my village, I can't really feed her anything. We have nothing to feed her. At least if she's in the hostel, even though she doesn't study, she will be able to at least eat twice in a day. That has really hit me so hard. I was with a complete different mindset, with a different paradigm, with the perspectives, all these booming ideas. I was overconfident about my position without even knowing what was I doing. Not at all thinking about the challenges that might come up, without even giving way for the negativity. Too much of positivity is also dangerous. So then I understood this is not the way. So I used to go sit with her extra time. I used to give her a lot of other aids, worksheets, different ways of learning. And then slowly I brought her to the 3rd grade, same level of learning. So this is how overconfidence can also hit us. We need to be extensively conscious about how do we learn and what do we learn. So we'll take this up in the next class tomorrow. We'll go in a bit detail. I'll share this document. There's no problem with it. But I would definitely urge all of you to please discuss and try to come out with a lot of ideas, because when you start sharing your ideas, then maybe everybody else, like 73 people are there here. The 73 people, or like as many people are there in this, everybody can learn together. There are 88 people, excluding me, 87 people. I can listen to 87 perspectives. I know the time won't be sufficient, but it can actually enrich me also in the process. So it was wonderful listening everything from all of you. We'll continue this tomorrow also. We'll try to take up as many questions as possible and try to look at that framework. If you have no questions, if you guys want to say something, you can say. There are a couple of more minutes. If not, we'll try to wrap this up for today. Any questions? Anything that you...
I would like to say something.
Please.
Like in order to build our self-confidence and things like that, we just, as you said, basically, character is all about thinking. First you think and then act accordingly. And in order to like build our self-confidence and all, the self-motivation aspect is very, very important, and self-analysis important. Like in order to unlearn things and then learn new things, as you said, given the example of cup, if I'm not wrong. So
yes.
Yeah, so the self-analysis and the self-motivation stuff is very important, because when you start analyze yourself, you think what is wrong and then what is right, what are you doing and what are the outcomes of it, consequences and all. And I really think self-motivation helps you throughout your life. It is as important for building the self-confidence.
Absolutely. That's what we've discussed in the initial also. How much it is important to show confidence. Apparently, it is as much importance to have confidence inherently. The confidence has to come from inside. Inside out is the approach that we generally try to say. The growth mindset, what Vishwanath ji was trying to say in this beginning about growth mindset. Growth mindset begins from inside. Inside out is the approach. Self-motivation has to always be there, because I was like very conscious about not using these two words in the session today about inspiration and motivation. Because whenever we talk about confidence, generally these two words will come up every time. But how to motivate people? I'm really not here to motivate or give you knowledge or something like that. We're just trying to share that information we have in a very organized way, and then share that perspectives with each other. Very beautiful. I think we just overboard today already. We'll just end with a Shanti mantra in the end. Just a minute. Then we'll...
Thank you very much, sir, for such a session. Like I would say a complete session. This is the host, sir. So with your permission, sir, could we end this session?
Yeah, we are going to with the Shanti mantra. Anyone doing Shanti mantra now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll be doing it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you so much, sir, for the session. So many examples, questions, and points also to ponder upon. Yeah. So let us end this session by chanting a Shanti mantra, the universal peace prayer. And so requesting all the participants to sit straight and fold your hands and join the prayer. Oh. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि
I think we just lost the host. We'll just end this. I'll do the Shanti mantra. We'll just end this. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tatsat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll meet tomorrow at 6:15.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.